So we have some very important news that we need to get to today because now Americans are bragging about not paying federal income taxes. And this is turning into a very interesting scenario where now the IRS, which has been somewhat really depleted, is now potentially going to go after millions and millions of Americans and try to get back all the money that they've lost. Because keep in mind, the IRS has been pillaged over the past few years. So I'm going to break all this down, explain what is going on and why millions of Americans should be somewhat concerned and should be watching their mailboxes because there could be a letter for them very soon coming from the IRS, which means fines and penalties coming your way and potentially garnishment of your wages. So I'm going to break all this down in just a moment, but first, all I ask is one thing. Takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. It's crazy to think, but there are more Americans right now that are trying to stick it to the man and say they're not going to pay taxes because the millionaires and billionaires of this country aren't paying taxes either. Now, here's what I can tell you. The millionaires and billionaires usually have a team of people, and that team of people finds the loopholes, which then allows them to pay the smallest amount of taxes possible. This means less taxes for the government, less taxes for Social Security, less taxes for the states, your counties, and so forth. But look at this. It says tax revenue collected by the IRS is set to plummet, according to the report. It says IRS officials are expecting tax revenue will drop more than 10% by April 15th. Well, here's what we know. It says the IRS braces for a $500 billion drop in revenue as taxpayers skip filings in wake of DOGE cuts at the agency. Here's what many Americans were saying, and this is what is being talked about over on TikTok, is that you didn't need to file your taxes. And again, I'm not giving financial advice here, okay? I have filed my taxes every year that I've needed to, every single year. And I will continue to file my taxes. Now, do I want my money going to the federal government? Absolutely not. Are they wasting it in many cases? Absolutely. But do you want to be hit with the fines and the penalties, the late fees, right? Do you want to potentially end up in jail? See a wage garnishment? No. Nobody wants that. Listen to this right here, okay? I think this is very interesting. Listen to this.
I haven't filed taxes since 2020.
Hasn't filed taxes since 2020. This isn't just a fluke thing. People are legitimately trying to stick it to the IRS, and they believe, and again, I have no clue, but many people believe that the IRS has gone through so many cuts recently that there's not enough IRS agents out there to go and audit and potentially charge all these people for not paying taxes. Here's what I can tell you. Even though we don't know yet, according to reports, the IRS is just in a transition phase. And keep in mind, the IRS, there is a statute of limitations, I believe, on unpaid taxes. I believe it's 10 years. So from the date the tax is assessed, okay, that is when you have 10 years and the IRS can come after you. That should be scary, especially for somebody if you haven't paid in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And I know people say this all the time. Well, I haven't paid taxes in 20 years. I haven't paid taxes my entire life. And that may be true. But here's the thing. The federal government is behind. The federal government needs money. President Trump needs money to fund his agenda, to get his tax cuts passed. And if he doesn't have the money, he's going to go and find it. That's exactly what the Department of Government Efficiency was established for, is to ensure that the federal government is becoming more efficient. But not only that, we're reducing wasteful spending, we're reducing fraud and abuse. Skipping out on your taxes is considered fraud and abuse. Now, here's what we know. there are millions of people that are potentially putting themselves on the line. Could see wage garnishments, could see themselves end up in jail, right? They could see the largest fine they've ever seen. Well, here's what we know. What the federal government's going to do, they're going to send you a letter. They're going to try to audit you. That's the way it's going to start. They're going to ask for certain documentations, and eventually it will turn into something a little bit bigger. If you owe them money, or they find out that you completely lied and falsified information, they're going to go back the year before, and the year before, and the year before. And it's going to keep going until they find out how much you actually owe them. Because keep in mind, the federal government needs money. When we are seeing reports like this, that tax revenue collected by the IRS is set to plummet, that's concerning. Especially if we don't have $500 billion that were projected to go towards taxes. If we don't have that money, it's not coming. Guess what? That means the Trump administration has to find an additional $500 billion. That's $500 billion in revenue that they need to figure out. That means additional cuts, or they go after the taxes that were owed. Yeah, that's where things get interesting. Now, I'm not here to tell you that you're on the hook, you're going to be audited in any time. No, we don't know that. What we do know, according to reports, the IRS is transitioning. The IRS is going to start to use artificial intelligence, and AI is going to help them pinpoint and figure out who has not paid taxes, who has received income, but yet there's no taxes paid. There's no tax filing in several years. According to reports, that is who is likely going to be on the hook. So it doesn't matter if you are a millionaire, a billionaire, or you make $15,000 a year. If you have not paid any income taxes, you have not even filed, there's a good chance you will get audited. There will be a flag thrown up on your account. Now, how do we prepare for this? Well, here's what we know. The IRS has gone through so many changes over the past several years. The big change that is happening as we speak, because again, the tax filing date or the deadline for the tax year 2024 was April 15th. So that was over a week ago. Now here's the problem. Now we're hearing that the IRS agents that were almost set to be laid off, those agents are going to go. And when they do, it's going to be a massive transition from going from agents to artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence will likely find these tax fraudsters, people that haven't paid. And again, I know there's things out there where some people say they're tax exempt and they're just not going to file. They're going to hide. They're going to do all these different things. And again, I'm not here to give you financial advice. What I'm here to do is tell you what's coming. Reports are indicating that the IRS agents aren't coming after you. AI will. And once they figure this out, and once AI it perfects itself in the IRS system, that's where things are going to be scary. So be on the lookout. According to reports, we could see in the very near future, probably within the next 2 to 3 months, my guess, 2 to 3 months after the IRS, the tax deadline, which was April 15th. So we got May, June, July 15th. So before the end of July, we should start to see letters going out for people that haven't filed, that may be, again, it's not just this year, it could be last year or the year before. Once artificial intelligence figures it out, that's when people should be scared. So we'll see what happens, but that's what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.